failure with preserved ejection fraction. Uh, the, we'll discuss what is heart failure and preserved ejection fraction, prevalence, who are these patients, pathophysiology of it, diagnosis and prognosis, and how to treat. What are the latest treatment guidelines? Let's say. Definition says that it's a clinical syndrome in patient with current or prior symptoms of heart failure with a left ventricular ejection fraction more than or equal to 50% and evidence of cardiac dysfunction as a cause of symptoms like there is diastolic dysfunction, elevated filling pressures, abnormal left ventricular filling and left ventricular relaxation problems. This is a new classification. Previously, we divided the heart failure into systolic heart failure and diastolic heart failure, which is now obsolete. In 2018, there was three classifications: reduced, mildly reduced, and preserved ejection fraction. Less than 40%, 40 to 40, 41 to 49%, and more than 50%. But this year they have added one more class, that is improved ejection fraction. Previously, patient previously had reduced ejection fraction because of any condition, ischemic heart disease, coronary syndrome, or anything. But on follow-up, there is more than 10% rise in the ejection fraction. This class is added as improved ejection fraction. EF of more than 40% on follow-up. Reduce is same, less than 40%. Mildly reduced is a new class, 41 to 49% EF, and preserved ejection fraction is more than 50%. There are 4 stages of heart failure, ACC stages, at-risk stage, pre-heart failure, symptomatic and advanced. At-risk stage are those patients who don't have any structural heart disease or who don't have any symptoms, but they are at increased risk of symptoms of heart failure symptoms because of the comorbidities like hypertension, kidney diseases, diabetes, obesity, and their exposure on chemotherapy, cardiotoxic agents exposure, genetic variant of all cardiomyopathy like hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy or restrictive cardiomyopathy. These are constitute stage A. Stage B are without current or prior symptoms of heart failure, but evidence of one of the following, like they have developed structural heart disease now, elevated increased evidence of increased filling pressures, and risk factors like increased natriuretic peptide levels, elevated troponin, and there is in the absence of competing diagnosis. Stage C is symptomatic heart failure with current or previous symptoms and signs of heart failure, and D is advanced, like marked heart failure symptoms, interfere with day-to-day life activity, despite of goal
direct. Go back to the previous slide.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to stage A, in this epidemic, whether it's a dengue epidemic or chikungunya epidemic, previously patients do not have heart failure. The moment they come to, they get admitted, and after 48 hours we realize that the patient is distinct. And when you do NT-proBNP is elevated. So even though they were previously asymptomatic, but the diabetes, hypertension, and now the prevailing condition make them.
Yes, they are now symptomatic heart failure.
Then they become symptomatic, even though previous, but because they are having hypertension, diabetes.
Yes, basically late presentation. Okay, sir.
And over and above, we give the dengue patient, we give fluid therapy. That fluid exacerbates the heart failure, even though it is required. But patient is, because patient is in diabetes and hypertension, you find patient is taking
yes,
NT-proBNP or high.
Yes, sir. So, reduced EF and preserved. So, you are talking, sir, about preserved EF.
Preserved EF,
yes.
Preserved EF risk factor.
Yes, sir. We do screening echo, but there are elevated filling pressures, diastolic dysfunction is there. Yes, sir. So, stage A, B, C, D, 4 stages, and we correlate with the NYHA classification. So, stage C constitute all 4 classes. Stage D is refractory heart failure symptoms. They are unable to carry out any physical activity without symptoms of heart failure. And they are asymptomatic at rest, basically. Prevalence. So, as sir told, there are many patients we see in day to day. Among all patients with heart failure worldwide, nearly half have an LVEF of more than 50%. They are all heart failure with preserved EF patients. Nearly half of them have an LVEF data from Framingham Heart Study and Cardiovascular Health Study have shown similar findings. Like majority of them are preserved EF with heart failure preserved EF patients. Decreased incidence of reduced EF patients over the past 2 decades, while the incidence of preserved EF patients with heart failure symptoms have increased by 45%. So the common factors are like aging of the population coupled with increased life expectancy and associated comorbidities, non-cardiac and cardiac causes, and there is improved recognition of these patients also in clinical practice. So studies have shown that prevalence of heart failure preserved EF is similar in men and women after adjusting for age and other risk factors. But so after age adjustment prevalence also, women outnumber men in these communities for 2 reasons. The first is it's a disease of aging, so women live longer than men on average, and providing more exposure time to develop these symptoms. And female sex is associated lower risk of death following diagnosis of heart failure preserved EF as compared with male sex. So women are ratio of women are more than men in these patients. The demographic features, the African Americans develop preserved EF at heart failure with preserved EF at younger age. HF preserved EF is increased in Asians with lean body mass. These are the comorbidities like hypertension, obesity, diabetes, AF. Majority of these patients have all these symptoms. Hypertension is seen in almost 90% of patients. Obesity is 30 to 50%, diabetes in some cases 20 to 30%. Atrial fibrillation is common, 20 to 30% of cases, but they have history of paroxysmal AF in between. There is high prevalence of renal disease also. Coronary artery disease also seen in 20 to 40% of cases.
Go back to previous slide.
Yes, sir.
See, regarding hypertension, see, most the people, what I hope, if patient of hypertension complains of breathlessness on exertion,
Yes, sir.
even though echo is normal, because we are doing echo at rest, we are not doing dynamic echo.
Yes, sir.
But I have seen those hypertensive patients who complain of breathlessness on exertion, you get an anti-proBNP that is in the range of between 500 and 1000, not very high, but still 500. You add diabetic, patient becomes better.
Yes, sir.
So hypertensives are more vulnerable to HEPEF.
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir.
Heart failure with reserve ejection fraction.
Yes, sir.
So, but we sometimes, because the echo is normal, ECG is normal, you don't diagnose heart failure in those patients. This is what my observation.
Yes. There are some measures, sir, like in hypertensive patient we see LV hypertrophy, concentric LV hypertrophy is there. So that is because there is loss of LV relaxation and elevated filling pressures, which will cause the elevated LA pressures. At rest LA pressures are normal, but on exercise there is
Because we
LA
do not know that echocardiography, that is called dynamic echocardiography.
Yes, sir.
While walking, like a stress echo, like that.
In that case, you
There is
elevate quarter and elevated proBNP like that. That
Yes,
is
yes.
also another good mark.
Yes.
Diastolic stress echo is also there, but we don't usually perform. I haven't done diastolic stress echo in 2 years, so yes, sir, we can do.
Another important point, while you are doing echo, are you checking all the 4 or 5 needed parameters to assess accurate diastolic dysfunction?
Yes, sir, we do mitral inflow, we do tissue Doppler, and IVRT at some times. But
So
these
how frequently you report LA volume index?
not good.
With index.
That is
Diastolic
yes,
dysfunction नमन लगाए थे support positive है diastolic
Grade 1 diastolic dysfunction that be 99% of times that justifies
it's
nothing.
very easy. Yeah.
That justifies nothing unless you have seen tissue Doppler, unless you have seen LA volume index, unless you have specifically mentioned TR jet velocity, right, and LV mass and IVRT. Then only good cardiologist will comment whether this heart failure ejection fraction is present or not, and then clinician will see anti-proBNP
Clinically,
right? But most of the time we are not putting these comments on echo, and many times physicians are also not watching this. right? કારણ કે grade 1 diastolic dysfunction જોઈ બધું આગળ જતું રહેશે.
Yes, sir.
So
Exactly.
you have to start putting all this in your echo reports. કારણ કે હમણાં તું બોલીશ ને આજ બધી સ્લાઇડ બોલવાનો છે બરાબર આગળ.
Yes, sir. Left atrial volume index, left ventricular mass, next relative wall thickness. All these are detailed parameters of diastolic.
Not detail. LA volume index ક્યાં detail છે તો 10 સેકન્ડનું કામ છે.
Pipette chamber, four chamber.
IVRT કેટલી સેકન્ડનું 1 સેકન્ડનું કામ છે.
Actually,
Right?
sir,
We are not doing.
हाँ sir. IVRT check કરીએ, tissue Doppler, mitral inflow. ત્રણમાં we can differentiate grade 2 છે કે grade
You cannot. You cannot. LA volume index જોયા વગર કઈ રીતે કહી શકે? What are the criteria to see grade 2 diastolic dysfunction?
sir E by E prime more than
Number 1. ના સૌથી પહેલા શું જોવાનું?
સૌથી પહેલા sir the mitral inflow
હા,
E by
એમાં-
E,
એમાં
which is
કઈ-
normal, which is normal. Between 0.8 to 2 આવશે. Normal છે એ છે grade
1 is 0.8 to 2 અને બીજું શું? If it is less than 0.8 then
deceleration time.
E more than 150. That can also lead to the
Ah,
grade 2.
yes, E
So
more
that you
than-
have to see.
Yes sir.
If you don't see this then you will miss grade 2.
Yes sir.
Correct me if I am wrong. Right? પછી ત્રણ ક્રાઇટેરિયા કયા છે?
TRZ velocity છે, left atrial volume index જે તમે કીધું એક એ છે which is more than 34 અને હજી એક છે સર
Septal and lateral E prime.
14 yes
Right?
septal
બરાબર છે? હવે આમાંથી કેટલા ક્રાઇટેરિયા પોઝિટિવ હોય તો તું ગ્રેડ 2 માં આપીશ અથવા તો એલિવેટેડ ફીલિંગ પ્રેશર કહીશ.
two or more than
So that is why LA volume index is mandatory that you are not checking.
yes
If you will not check, you can never comment.
yes
So તમે રેસિડન્ટ લોકો LA volume index each and every patient હા કારણ કે તમારા તો બધા હાર્ટ ના જ છે તમારે તો આમથી જોવું પડે.
yes
Okay?
good nice so comorbid conditions aging is main factor because as age progresses there is decrement due to the slower rates of LV relaxation. There are changes in the pattern of LV filling, reduction in the early diastolic annular velocity, and slowly progress with age. As Mr. Female sex are at potent risk. Hypertension seen in 80 to 90% of patients. Concentric remodeling or overt LV hypertrophy will be there, increasing atrial and ventricular systolic stiffness, which will lead to the impaired relaxation and increased diastolic stiffness. Coronary artery disease. Ischemia also lead to the diastolic dysfunction because revascularization in those patients we did with in patient with heart failure without EF, ischemia is also contribute to diastolic dysfunction.
See, you can never have systolic dysfunction isolated. Once ischemia is there, your cardiac myocardium is imploded, diastolic dysfunction has to be there. Isolated systolic dysfunction is not possible, right? Because diastole is a ATP mediated process and ischemia will definitely બરાબર સપોઝ
Yes,
the last statement
Relaxation, yes, relaxation is ATP energy.
so ischemia થશે તો શું અફેક્ટ થશે?
Diastole.
Of course.
Yes.
So,
There will be decreased diastolic flow because of ischemia. AF and other rhythm disturbances, obesity, diabetic mellitus, which contribute to the structural and functional coronary, vascular and myocardial changes, which include the metabolic disturbances, pro-inflammatory and pro-fibrotic mediator activators, cardiac autonomic neuropathy, increased glycation and degradation products promote the increased collagen accumulation, which will lead to the stiffnesses and fibrosis. Then CKD patients, sleep apnea patients, pulmonary artery hypertension, which has prognostic implications and it associated higher morbidity and mortality rates. Other rare causes inflammatory cardiomyopathy, constrictive pericarditis and valvular heart disease. So what are the common precipitants we see in day to day? Exercise is the common precipitant, common thing. There is a grade 1 diastolic dysfunction we discuss and patient do exercise. There is decreased diastolic reserve of the patient. So as the heart rate increases, there is increased backflow, like increased LA pressures, which will lead to the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure increase, and there is pulmonary congestion. So this will lead to the symptoms. Atrial fibrillation, same mechanism, hypertension, IV fluid load, and ischemia. As sir discussed, dengue patient comes and we
Right.
give
So we
fluids.
can add either inflammation or infection as a recipe.
Yes, yeah, yes, correct. Infection is
So most important cause you have missed here is anemia. ક્લિનિશિયન સાથે ડિસ્કસ કરતા એટલે એનિમિયા પહેલા બોલવું પડે.
Infection and anemia also.
yes, sir.
Okay, more often than not, if a patient of dyspnea in your OPD, if you don't see echo, it's fine, but if you have to see the tongue or payload.
Yes, sir.
The Western literature ના president factor છે. આપણા Indian literature ના president factor જોઈએ.
Yes, anemia definitely. Pathophysiology, grade 3 also it will increase. So these are the three diastolic dysfunctions, grade 1, 2, 3, 4.
સોર્સ હતો એ તમારો આ ક્યાંથી લીધું છે?
Yes, sir.
આ ક્યાંથી લીધું છે?
Sir, up to date only.
See, grade 2 માં there can be E by E prime more than 14, average E by E prime more than 14,
Okay, sir.
right? એમાં એવું નથી કે 14 થી
10
ઉપર હોય તો
to
grade 3 થઈ જાય. Right? This correction you need to do.
Okay. ठीक. Left ventricular relaxation is an active energy dependent process. Estimation, there are three factors: isovolumetric relaxation time, maximum rate of pressure decline, that is dp by dt, and time constant of relaxation or tau. IVRT is a non-invasive, while other two methods are invasive methods. It's a time interval between the aortic valve closure and opening of the mitral valve, isovolumetric relaxation. So as the relaxation is prolonged, there is diastolic dysfunction, mitral valve opening is delayed, and hence IVRT is increased. So it's normal less than 70, but in grade 1 and 2 diastolic dysfunction it will be more than 70. But then again in restrictive pattern, that is grade 3 diastolic dysfunction, it will reduce, that is less than 60 milliseconds. This IVRT which shows prolonged suggestive of grade 1 and 2 diastolic dysfunction. This is invasive method, isovolumetric pressure decay. Simply says if the dp by dt is more negative, this relaxation rate is decreased and diastolic dysfunction is there. Tau, time constant of ventricular relaxation. It is also larger value of tau, that means there is longer time it takes to LV to fall in the LV pressure, and more time for relaxation. There is impaired relaxation. So simple, less than 35 milliseconds is normal, more than 40 milliseconds is suggestive of impaired relaxation. There is left ventricular diastolic stiffness, compliance and distensibility. It measured as the diastolic pressure volume relationship. So simply if we say that as the diastolic volume, for the same diastolic volume there is increased diastolic pressure, and the diastolic pressure volume curve will shift to the left. Yes. If there is systolic dysfunction, if we see in the middle image, there is LA volume LA volume decreases and LA pressures remain same, but in diastolic dysfunction LA volume remains same, but there is LA pressure increases. So there is increase in end diastolic LV filling pressures. Now and reduced EF shows LA volume overload. Yes, sir. So two of the determinants with upward and leftward shift of PPRP in patients with preserved EF are presence of LV and cardiomyocyte concentric remodeling and hypertrophy, and changes in the material properties of myocardial muscle, that is myocardial stiffness. So this is basics. Heart failure with preserved EF patient shows concentric remodeling with relative wall thickness, relative left ventricular mass index, which is the middle images, and eccentric remodeling will be seen in heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. There is left ventricular mass will remain same, but there is volume overload, and there is overall increase in the diameter of the LV. LV hypertrophy or remodeling can be observed in diastolic heart failure. Eccentric LV hypertrophy in depressed EFs, as we discussed. Most common cause is hypertension, as it hypertrophy. LV wall relative wall thickness is a parameter to check for which is more than 0.42 is threshold taken as threshold pathology left ventricular hypertrophy. LA volume is feasible and reliable biplane method. We check in apical 4 chamber and 2 chamber views. Normally 16 to 34. If it is more than 34, it's an independent predictor of death, heart failure, AF, ischemic stroke, and diastolic dysfunction. Yes, sir. LA volume index is.
So suppose you check my LA volume,
yes,
right?
sir.
It comes 38. What is the?
If it comes 38, then we check for DR jet velocity and E by E prime.
Then we check for, or you divide it with the body surface area,
Index, yes.
right? So
Yes.
that question. There is an index. It is not an absolute value.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Keep in mind, right? Because you are not performing, so you are liable to do this mistake in your report.
Yes, sir.
Once you start performing, you will never forget.
Yes. LA volume index. LA volume is 2 biplane apical 4 chamber and 2 chamber LA volume LA sizes, and then we divide it by body surface area. That is LA volume index. This is the evaluation of spectral Doppler mitral inflow. Normal is E by A less than 0.8 and E velocity is less than peak E velocity less than 50. That is and normal left atrial pressure is grade 1 diastolic dysfunction. Now there is discrepancy E by A between 0.9 and 1.9. So determine three parameters. Check 3 parameters. Average E by E prime if it's more than 14. TR velocity more than 2.8 and LA volume index more than 34. At least 2 criteria is negative, we can label it as grade 1. At least 2 criteria is positive, elevated left atrial pressure, grade 2 diastolic dysfunction is there. And no more than 1 criteria is negative, no more than 1 criteria is positive. So there is, so we can say indeterminate diastolic dysfunction grade. So if E by A more than 2, there is no confusion. It is
So here it is more than 14.
yes sir, more than 14.
Will grade 2 maybe?
Yes sir, grade 2 10 to 14 I think it's wrong, like
Yes.
more than 14.
Previous slide that now up to date validity that was wrong.
Yes sir, it
This
is
is
14.
And why you need to comment on filling pressure? Do you want to comment on filling pressure on your echo? Are you commenting on it anytime?
No sir.
Why it is needed?
Invasive procedure.
ના filling pressure on echo transversive echo ક્યાં નહીં આમાં છે ને elevated left atrial pressure.
Yes sir.
Why it is important?
Left atrial pressure measurement.
જ્યારે પ્રી ઓપરેટિવ માટે ઇકો આવે રાઈટ પેશન્ટને એનેસ્થેસિયા આપવાનું છે કે હાઇડ્રેટ કરવાનું છે તો એનેસ્થેટિસ માટે આ કોમેન્ટ જરૂરી છે whether filling pressure or atrial pressure is increased or not. એને આ ખાલી grade 1 લખી મૂકી તો ના ચાલે. So that is why you need all this thing. Each and every pre-operative assessment it has to be mentioned.
Yes sir. I will check left atrial pressures. I think we need to add left ventricular filling pressure.
It is clear. Left atrial pressure લખીશ એટલે સમજી જશે. બરાબર, but at least you have to write
Yes sir.
whether it is normal or you are suspected that it is increased.
Okay sir. So how do you diagnose it? One
As a
parameter.
physician,
Yes.
see, પહેલા તો કે આજે echo કરે routine. How many this criteria is mentioned in the, or whether we have to specify that I am suspecting diastolic dysfunction in this patient. So please look for diastolic dysfunction, or otherwise it is written.
Sir, yes.
Routine, what is the routine procedure?
Routinely we check TR velocity, E by E prime tissue Doppler and mitral inflow Doppler. But yes, sometimes we miss is LA volume index. Sir.
Never. In Baroda, nobody does.
Yes. We try to.
So then, see the way Dr. Murata said that the perioperative checkup is being done for the, the high risk patient, hypertension, diabetes, obesity. Obviously, there must be some amount of diastolic dysfunction at rest.
Yes sir.
So we have to specify to please look for diastolic dysfunction. If it is present, then what is the grade?
Great. Yes.
So now onwards, anytime any hypertensive, diabetic, obese patient, always look for this. Always.
Yes.
You will realize that જેટલા grade 1 diastolic dysfunction લખો છો એમાં મોટા ભાગના normal હશે અને બહુ બધા grade 1 કે grade 2 હશે જેમાં filling pressure વધારે છે
always reduce.
And that is all in mitral inflow. એમાં મોટા ભાગના એ તો ટીસ્યુ વેલોસિટી બી નથી જોઈ એટલે તો સાવ ગયું પછી તંત્ર ખાડે બરાબર.
Yes, sir.
As a cardiologist, we expect from you that you should mention more than diastolic dysfunction grade 1.
Yes. At least this much has to be
અને you need to do nothing. તમારા સોફ્ટવેરમાં એલે વોલ્યુમ આ બધા નાખી દેવાના પ્રેક્ટિશનને કહી દો અને કરી લો. You just have a comment કે આ છે કે નહીં.
તો નીચે મશીન છે એનામાં તો બધું રેડી જ આવે કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરીને જ મશીન આવશે.
બહુ ઈઝી છે બહુ જ ઈઝી. ખાલી એલે વોલ્યુમ ઇન્ડેક્સ માટે તમારે બોડી સરફેસ એરિયા અલગથી લેવો પડશે ને પછી અલગથી કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરીને કરવો પડશે.
Yes.
કારણ કે ઘણીવાર એલે વોલ્યુમ 54 બી આવશે પણ જાડિયો માણસ હશે જેનું બોડી સરફેસ એરિયા મોર ધેન 2 હશે it will automatically come at 25. So that doesn't qualify for high filling pressure, right? So
બોડી સરફેસ એરિયા.
બોડી સરફેસ એરિયા પેલો ક્વેશ્ચન ખાસ એના માટે હતો કે આ તમને એક્ઝામને પૂછશે મિસ થઈ જાય.
Yes, sir.
Very similarly we see EGFR. EGFR is always index, never an absolute value. Same
Always
similar.
parallel. Yes, yes. Yes, sir. So diagnosis. One trial they performed Paragon HF in which they check sacubitril valsartan effect on the heart failure in preserved EF patients. It was not successful, but the symptoms and signs of heart failure was like dyspnea on exertion was seen on in 98% of patients, fatigue, edema, orthopnea, JVT, RALS, PND, dyspnea at rest. So these were the common symptoms of heart failure, reduced as well as preserved ejection fraction.
And that is why any high risk patient comes with dyspnea on exertion, whether hypertensive, diabetic or obesity patient comes with look for diastolic dyspnea.
Yes, sir.
Distance, venous distance.
Venous distension. Clinical evidence, same heart failure symptoms, orthopnea, reduced exercise tolerance, dyspnea on exertion. On clinical examination, the common findings of reduced EF are displays LV apical impulse and pulses utterance, which is not seen in preserved EF patients. Pulmonary congestion could be seen on chest radiographs or computed tomography.
And nowadays there are sensors available. While walking, if there are sensors, I don't remember the name of that device. You put the device on the chest and that detects pulmonary pressure. And you can realize that even before the chest or CT detects congestion, that
Yes.
device detects and you can initiate therapy.
Estimated pulmonary artery pressures.
That device detects. So now you can detect early before any chest X-ray.
But any clinical signs and
Yes,
symptoms we
yeah.
can
અલગ એવું આવે છે sensor.
It is available in United States.
cardio MEMS કે એવું કંઈક
I don't recollect the name, but that device is available even for heart failure patient.
એવું?
Before they become over symptomatic, they realize that that
Filling pressures are
filling pressures is rising. Initiate diabetic therapy. So instead of now the 4 components of heart failure therapy, now that terminology will be obsolete. There will be 5 components. That is diuretic. So
Yes.
detect the congestion very early, initiate diabetic.
Yes, sir.
So
Is
before
there-
the chest X-ray detect, that device detects.
Yes, sir. So diagnosis of heart failure and preserved EF should be suspected with all of the three following. First is symptoms. Heart failure symptoms such as dyspnea or fatigue, physical signs of heart failure may or may not be present. EF of more than 50 or equal to 50%, which will be evaluated with Doppler transthoracic, estimated pulmonary systolic pressures, and assess the cause of heart failure. No apparent cause of heart failure other than heart failure with preserved EF. So now they have developed 2 algorithms: heart failure association PEF algorithm, in which they check the first pre-test assessment. They look for all these parameters: symptoms and signs, comorbidities, ECG, standard echo, brain nucleotide peptide levels, and 6-minute walking test. There are so many parameters, and they go for diagnostic workup, comprehensive echocardiography, and peptide levels. Advanced workup, diastolic stress test, exercise stress echocardiography, and invasive hemodynamic measurements if the results are inconclusive, and etiological workup, cardiac MRI or biopsies, scintigraphy, and genetic testing. And this is another S2F PF score. H2 means heavy hypertensive, F atrial fibrillation, pulmonary hypertension, elderly patients, and filling pressures elevated. So for each there is a parameter, BMI more than 30, paroxysmal or persistent AF, they give 3 points, BMI more than 30, 2 points, 1 point for elevated pulmonary systolic pressure more than 35, age more than 60 years, and Doppler echo E by E prime more than 9 is 1 point. So based on these points, there is probability of preserved ejection fraction. The point say more towards 7 to 9, the probability is more than 0.95%. This is one algorithm. Patient with the three parameters, symptoms of heart failure, EF more than 50, and no apparent cause other than this. Then the next step is we calculate these two scores. If the scores are between 0 to 1, there is low probability, and the cause is less likely, and maybe other non-cardiac causes there. Score is 6 to 9 for S2F, PEF, and other algorithm 5 or 6. Then the diagnosis, it is diagnostic of, basically scores are on higher side, diagnostic of heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. Intermediate probability, perform the hemodynamic exercise test, and we check for pulmonary capillary wedge pressures more than 15 at rest or verified during exercise. If yes, is diagnostic. By role of biomarker, it has prognostic role. Increased BNP is directly related to LV diastolic filling pressures and end diastolic wall stress. But false negative would be there in obese patients, higher in women, levels are higher in women, older patients, and value cutoff given is 100 for BNP and anti-pro-BNP more than 400. Diastolic stress test, it detects...
Okay, normal anti-pro-BNP level rules out heart failure with preserved ejection
No
fraction.
sir, no, not at all.
That is very important.
Yes sir.
That is one of the criteria.
It could be a lower in obese patients.
ડાયલેમા ક્યાં થાય તમે જ્યારે ઇકોમાં બધું લખ્યું ના હોય
Normal આવે છે.
અને એન્ટી નોર્મલ આવે and you miss diagnosis,
Yes, sir.
right? So that's
Yes.
reason of asking that question was there.
Yes. Positive values has prognostic implications, but negative
False positive भी बहुत होता है. See, anything which will stretch atrium will increase anti-pro-BNP.
there are so many percentages.
So many causes other than heart failure, right? Okay, so there are high false positive, negative cannot rule out. So हाँ करवा माटे ठीक है, but unless you do perform echo comprehensively, it is very difficult to do. કારણ કે you know what percentage of population is expected to have heart failure with preserved ejection fraction? General population
6 to 8%.
close to 4%. It's a very huge number. 140 કરોડના 4% કેટલા છે?
Yes, sir.
સમજાય છે? Right? So it is close to almost 7-8 crores. Right? Unless you do comprehensive echo, you can do nothing.
Diastolic stress test. It detects the reduced LV diastolic reserve capacity, the static of diastolic dysfunction. Normal subjects, there is increase in stroke volume without significantly increased filling pressures, but preserved ejection fraction patients, heart failure with PF patients cannot augment the myocardial relaxation. There is with tachycardia, heart rate increases, there is increased LV filling pressures, and which will produce the symptoms. So this test is most appropriate for patient who has grade 1 diastolic dysfunction. And further to conclude what will be the prognosis of the patient. Differential diagnosis of heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. Cardiomyopathies, all restrictive and hypertrophic cardiomyopathies, non-compaction cardiomyopathy. Valvular heart disease, stenotic and regurgitation lesions. Right heart failure caused by pulmonary hypertension, right ventricular infarction, anemogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy. Other pericardial causes, constrictive pericarditis, cardiac tamponade, any tumors, myxoma tumor causing the increased filling pressure. So these are the differential diagnosis. Management, pathophysiological targets, we'll see about trials and guidelines. So first is reduction.
There's something called major criteria and minor criteria for diagnosis of heart failure with preterm ejection fraction. ESC guideline કોઈ એમાં major minor criteria ઉપર છે.
Okay, I will just
What is LVMI?
left ventricular mass index.
એ તમે describe કર્યું. Is it important?
Yes, it is important.
Okay, now it is one of the criteria.
Relative wall thickness.
Exactly. એના ઉપર તો diagnosis છે. બહુ બધી વાર તમને પહેલા બધામાં બહુ નહીં મળે તમને see. So LV mass index is having a criteria point there.
Yes.
ચલો ટ્રાયલ માં જતા રહો.
Targets for fluid and sodium restriction, judicious use of diuretics, nitrates, treatment of comorbid conditions like diabetes, hypertension control, and treatment and
આ બધા
preventing.
heading વાંચી જાવ એમ બાકીનું બધું
હા.
બધા ખબર છે.
Trials, આ બધા trials થઈ ગયા. Optimize HF, iPreserve, PEP, CHF, TopCat.
What is the only group of drug which has shown some positive outcome?
Sir, it is sacubitril valsartan and deliver trial માં dapagliflozin.
Deliver પેલા emperor preserved આવ્યું ખબર છે?
Empagliflozin, yes.
તો હવે ડાયરેક્ટ હીરો ની વાત કરી લો. અચ્છા તમને આ ઓલા લોકેશન ફાર્મા વાળા આપી છે?
ના.
હવે emperor આવ્યું ને દોસ્ત emperor preserved રિલીઝ થયું ને 7-8 મહિના માથે થઈ ગયું.
હા સર.
સોરી એક વર્ષ માથે થઈ ગયું.
2021
ના ઓગસ્ટમાં આવેલો છે.
Yes.
તો તમે એ તો બોલતા નથી તમે ડિલિવર હમણાં આવ્યો એ બોલો છો કેમ એવું?
હા સર.
સૌથી પહેલું વાત છે
Emperor
એમ્પરર
preserve, yes sir. Reduces the heart failure hospitalization and cardiovascular death. 13.8% versus 17% which was seen in placebo.
Are you happy with this data? કેટલા percent relative risk reduction in deaths છે?
Relative risk reduction is less than 0.1%.
Huh?
Sorry, I don't know it.
Oh બાપરે, you are describing a trial and you don't know what is relative
Relative risk
risk
reduction, sir, all cause mortality 13.4 versus 14%.
એમાં સૌથી એક મોટું છે ને એમ્પાગ્લોફિન સુપીરિયર ટુ ઇન્જેક્શન ફ્રેક્શન મોર ધેન 40 લખ્યું છે એટલે કે માઇન્ડલી
હા, સર, mildly reduced cover કર્યું છે.
સૌથી મોટો વસ્તુ છે.
See, તને ખબર છે emperor preserved trial કેટલા ટાઈમ ડ્યુરેશન નો હતો?
2 years, around 2 years. Sir.
So close to 40 years, right? So
26.
when you expect a heart failure with preserved reduction fraction patient to die, will it die in 2.5 years?
No.
Will you,
Yes.
can you imagine any patient whose ejection fraction is 55 but he is having grade 2 diastolic dysfunction, will die in 2 years?
No.
So what is the impact on mortality benefit? Will you consider this mortality benefit? Relative risk reduction of 12-13% is absolutely nothing unless you have an absolute risk reduction. Okay, but yeah, morbidity અને જે તમારું heart failure with hospitalization છે, symptoms relief છે, એના માટે it is excellent. If you have used this,
સેકન્ડ લાઈન એ છે the benefit was largely driven by reduction in hospitalization without significant difference in mortality.
suppose as a cardiologist you describe any trial for preserved ejection fraction, never focus on death. Never focus on death while you are describing preserved ejection fraction. reduce હતું કે less than 40 હતું ચાલો બીજા કોર્સથી પણ ડેથ થશે હાર્ટ ફેલિયર થી થશે જરૂરી નથી પણ 55 વાળો તો કઈ રીતે મરી જવાનો 2 વર્ષ
Yes.
અને એમાં તારી એમ્પાગ્લિફ્લોઝિન શું એને આપી દેવાનું સમજાય છે શું કહું
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
what is the dose
10 milligram OD, sir.
and up to what EGFR you will use
EGFR less than 30 contraindicated, sir.
this trial was the first trial where any SGLT2 inhibitor was used up to 20 EGFR 20 EGFR index અને cystatin base જે આપણે કરતા જ નથી બરાબર cystatin yeah but up to 20 they have used
Sir, yes, empagliflozin and dapagliflozin, these two drugs. And one more trial is going on. It is in phase 3, Paraglide HF trial. Sacubitril valsartan trial. It will tolerability, safety, and anti-proBNP levels in preserved heart failure in preserved EF patients, and it will be published in maybe next year. Sir. So these are the latest guidelines.
What are the objective of this trial? सेना ऊपर वॉच राखी છે. Symptoms पर, death पर.
Sir, and safety like
खाली safety.
Safety and
Outcome ऊपर નથી જોયું.
anti-proBNP levels check 30 days.
ના, have you gone through the primary and secondary outcome જે જોવા માંગે છે કે નથી જોયું? ખાલી સેફટી માટે કોઈ ફેઝ 3 ના કરે, સેફટી માટે આગળનું થઈ ગયું હોય. ફેઝ 3 મતલબ they are relatively sure the drug is safe and it is safe. પણ આઉટકમ શું છે?
So I have to read.
So you have to see કે આ લોકો શું જોવા માંગે છે, હે ને?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, if you focus on last heart failure with preserved EF, goal-directed medical therapy is only diuretics as and when needed. Patient is symptomatic, just relieve the symptoms. Say class 1. Other SGLT2 inhibitors are their class 2 indications. MRA also class 2 indications, but doesn't show any mortality benefit in TOPCAT trials, so it is class 2B. ARBs are class 2B. Other drugs are not effective, like quadruple therapy is effective in reduced ejection fraction patients. Beta blockers, other nitrates, they are contraindicated. They are not useful. They can be used for other comorbid conditions like AF with heart failure, preserved ejection fraction, or for myocardial ischemia, but not for HFPF per se. So, okay, sir, these were the